What's up everybody, this is Master EN Gamer. We just got a brand new patch on the Overwatch PTR, and with it are some changes, some which I really like, some which I'm skeptical of. So to start, I'm just going to go ahead and read through the changes, which I'm not going to go super in depth with my thoughts on, which are changes to Mei, Hanzo, and Doomfist. Mei Endothermic Blaster slowing effect now reduces enemy movement speed from 20 to 70% down from 30 to 90%. And additionally, slowing effect duration reduced from 0.5 to 1 second. So this basically just limits the amount of slowing that's going to take place when it comes to, well, the slowing effect of her endothermic blaster, which I think is going to be nice, but I don't know, we'll see how effective that ultimately ends up being. Next up, Hanzo Primary Fire maximum projectile speed reduced from 125 to 110. So those projectiles are slower now. Okay, that's gonna make him less powerful, definitely harder to hit shots, but it is what it is. Doomfist uppercut recovery time increased from 0.2 to 0.5 seconds. Now, I do believe this is referring to his own recovery time, because, you know, he is a bit of, like, can't really, like, move, doesn't have the aerial control after using uppercut. I think that means it's applying to him as opposed to, like, people hit by the uppercut, which means it's a nerf to Doomfist as opposed to a buff. These are the basic changes that are happening to heroes that I don't have a whole ton of thoughts on because they're not heroes I particularly play a whole bunch. Now I want to focus on the heroes which I do play. First up, Baptiste Immortality Field maximum duration reduced from 8 to 5 seconds. Immortality Field cooldown increased from 20 to 25 seconds, and Amplification Matrix ultimate cost increased by 20%. Now, these changes, they feel warranted for the most part, at least the Immortality Field changes. They feel warranted, but I don't know if I really like the direction they're taking him with these. Basically, they're just making it so Immortality Field is up less often, which, yes, that definitely needs to be the direction they take it, because as it stands, Immortality Field is just there a bit too often. It feels a bit too oppressive to the point that it's sort of annoying to fight against, and I feel like oftentimes you're getting these compositions which are too reliant on Immortality Field just being a thing. So I do like that they're sort of toning that back a bit. It feels like Immortality Field is shifting into the territory that Mercy's Resurrect is right now, and I don't think that's a good territory. The idea of a hero having a super strong standard ability, but it having a very long cooldown and like very sort of like minuscule range of effectiveness when it comes to like the uptime of the Immortality Field with this newest patch. This could be something that I just have to get used to, that we all just have to get used to. I feel like this is probably a change they needed to push through. This is probably going to be a good direction overall. I am just skeptical because I don't really like the position that Mercy's Resurrect is in. I think a lot of people would agree with that. The idea of pushing Immortality Field into being this like super strong, high cooldown standard ability, I'm not a big fan of that direction, but we'll see how it ultimately ends up going. I'm going to be playing him quite a bit on the PTR, try to get a feel for his new Immortality Field, so we'll have to see how that plays out. The Amplification Matrix ult cost increase, this felt a bit unwarranted. I don't know if I've ever heard anyone complain about Amp Matrix being too powerful or being activated too often. In fact, Amp Matrix is like one of those ultimates that I think a lot of people just sort of forget even exists because like, surely, like, professionals use it effectively, but in a lot of matches I play, like, it's nice when it goes up because you get to utilize it and it's powerful, but it's not something that I ever really think a lot about. I'm never, like, waiting for the amplification matrix to go up in order to, like, make a push or to, you know, defend or whatever. It's just sort of a thing, it's like, oh, that's there, I'll use it. When it goes down, I don't feel like it really changes the flow of play a whole lot. Maybe that's just my own perspective, but it does seem a bit odd that they went and just nerfed it basically by increasing its ult cost. We'll have to see again, like the Immortality Field, how that ultimately ends up playing out though. Next up, Orisa, Fortify damage reduction reduced from 50% to 40%. I'm a bit worried about where that's going to end up putting her, because I feel like after the major barrier overall nerfs that happened a little ways back, I feel like she ended up at a spot where it's like she was just on the brink of being too weak. She wasn't too weak. On live servers, I don't think that Orisa is in a bad position, but she was like on the edge of being like, okay, this hero doesn't really have a spot where she works. Now I'm a bit worried this is gonna potentially push her over the edge. I'm not saying that for sure is going to be the case. 40% is still a significant damage reduction. And again, it'll take experimenting with her on the PTR to really get a feel for how this actually ends up working. So again, nervous a little bit. I generally trust that Blizzard knows what they're doing. I'm not genuinely concerned, I should say, about these changes or even the changes to Baptiste. I'm nervous. Let's say that. I'm nervous. Not concerned. I'm nervous. We'll see what happens. If this is too much, I'm sure Blizzard will shift it back, as they typically tend to do. A lot of people seem to not give them credit for reverting changes that end up being too much, or, adjusting things that don't work out how we want them to work out, or how Blizzard wants them to work out. But anyways, moving on to the last main hero who got changes, D.Va. Booster's cooldown decreased from 5 seconds to 3 seconds. Hooey. I can tell you right off the bat, even if this doesn't make her more viable as a hero, it makes her more fun to play. Just messing around in the practice range before I recorded this, I just love that you can activate it more frequently. She's just constantly able to zip around now. She's always going to be on the move. This is amazing. D.Va's been in a pretty bad position basically ever since roll Q became a thing, even kind of before that when you had the barrier meta, double barrier meta, triple barrier meta, all the barriers in the world meta. She didn't really do that well during that time period, and that's sort of carried over, and she just hasn't had a good spot to really fit in. I don't know that this is going to necessarily make her fit into a spot better. I guess it would probably give her a bit more viability when it comes to competing with Wrecking Ball in terms of being like a mobile bruiser sort of tank and like causing more disruption and all that. I'm not convinced this is going to suddenly make her appear in more matches again. Definitely not going to bring her back to her old glory, like way back in the day when she was just one of the best heroes for literally years, but it's fun. This is a fun change. This makes her more fun to play, which is important too, because you have to consider that the vast majority of the player base doesn't exist in like the high-end tier of players where you have to pick the heroes that are best in order to win and, whatever. If you're just playing the game with your friends or just in like a platinum tier quick play match, you can typically just pick heroes that you enjoy playing and that you have enough experience with to be good at them. So hopefully that means D.Va will be a bit more, useful at those points. She'll be used a bit more, and I kind of expect that to be the case, I guess, for her. We'll end up seeing, though. Again, all these are things we're going to have to experiment more with to see just how effective they actually end up being, but for the time being, I'm pretty optimistic about the D.Va changes. I think they're going to be fun. The Orisa changes, I'm a bit nervous. Baptiste, I am also a bit nervous. Baptiste is like the only support hero I actually play consistently, so seeing him get nerfed like this, again, I understand why they did it. We'll just have to see what position that really ends up placing him, though. Anyways, these have been my sort of quick off-the-cuff thoughts of just looking at these new changes we got and experimenting with them a bit in the PTR practice range. But I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts about these changes, as well as the changes for Mei, Hanzo, and Doomfist, which, again, are heroes that I basically never play, so I don't feel really qualified to give my thoughts on how those are going to actually impact the characters. But yeah, just let me know your thoughts in general in the comments down below. And as always, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this video and share it with your friends if you really liked it. Subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit up the bell to never miss any of my future Overwatch content. This is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time, have a great day.